Hello?
Hello, we are online now. Okay. Do we have anyone on the line?
Yes, Kenneth McClary.
Okay. Anyone else on the line? All right, we're going to begin in just a few minutes. Just hold on, we're just getting settled.
I know where I'm
All right. So we're doing it June 30th. We'll have to get the key from the shop.
Okay, are we all set?
Look more yellow on the screen.
Okay, can we,
12:05.
guys? Ready?
Ready, begin.
Okay, meeting begins at 12:05. And we have the approval of our minutes from our April 27th, 2022 meeting.
I make a motion for the approval of minutes from the April 27th, 2022 meeting.
Second.
Second by Dennis. Any discussion on the minutes?
Is there another minutes agenda from
Here, take mine.
I don't need minutes.
Oh, here's another whole set. Okay. Thank you. Do you not need it, Mary? Do you need one?
No, if there's another one of these spreadsheets.
Oh, yes, I have them for you. That can go to Mary. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're good on minutes, so you can just say to call for a vote.
Oh, Mary Jo's running late.
Yes, I know.
I'm sorry.
We have to vote.
Can I bring something up in discussion first?
Sure.
I wasn't saying should the whole meeting be an executive session. My intention was to say, should we be discussing specific businesses and their applications in public?
Okay. So, Dan, will you make note of that at the bottom there?
Thank you.
And I do have answers to that today. Okay. So,
Okay, with that change, all in favor of accepting minutes with that change?
aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain as I wasn't present.
Okay, so we have to review and approve our revised timeline, which is in the minutes from last week. George is coming on the 11th, so you can cross that out. He'll be here on the 11th.
I would just like to add to everyone, George has been a pleasure to work with.
Great.
He's got a great sense of humor. He's extremely responsive. I've enjoyed
Great feedback.
professionalism and
Thanks for
his
sharing.
experience with working with him.
How is the billing coming against the cap?
That I don't know. That might be a Nicole question. George Kripta's billing? Not near the Capitol.
Rounded up to 5,000.
Okay, great.
What I received so far, so.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, he was like, my emails to him last week, he's like, I'm sort of scared. We don't have a lot of applications. Just wait. Just wait. So the only thing we, at the 18th, we're doing 10 to 5, is that our plan? Okay.
That's what's on the calendar, on the town's website.
I just needed to make sure I was aware.
Probably 10. I think we said 5, but town hall closes at 4 hours.
Yeah, and it depends
on how much work we get along.
It does. Okay, good. So do we have a motion to approve the timeline as it is stated in old business? Are there any revisions that anyone thinks we should make?
Other than the revision, I'll make a motion, other than the revision made for the visit of George Kripta, that we approve the timeline as shown in the meeting date, April 27, 22.
I second that.
Any-
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, Jen, you want?
So you can see, I gave everyone the economic recovery, which I had them numbered on the screen. I think there's 31 economic recovery and 37 community initiative. And I had some time at the referendum yesterday because it was new to put the categories in.
Huge help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consuming, so I'm kind of glad I had the ability to do that. So you can see my kind of thing was that probably half came in on May 2nd. The date's not on here, we took that out. You can see, the total didn't show up in our printout, but it's 3.5 million.
3.52331.
Very good. And you all have an electronic version of
Yes.
this, so you can see that. And my first thing is that it's almost, the majority of them are town departments, right? You see some of the nonprofits, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 businesses.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 nonprofits and 5 businesses, and the rest are government.
So at first blush, looking at this, a couple notes. Number one, I was very, very pleased with the turnout. I used East Lyme as kind of a comparative benchmark for us to look at as far as the numbers that they had, given their size. Our numbers appear to me to be comparatively better than the turnout that East Lyme was able to get. The other thing that I looked at, my takeaway is those who have applied certainly seem to reflect quite well what I believe the committee was expecting and hoping to get from an application population. So I think that the committee should be very pleased with that, and I'd like to thank everybody who was helpful in doing that. I'd also like to publicly acknowledge the work that Lenny did in getting the word out to a lot of the local businesses. I think your efforts were good, Lenny, so thank you very much. Lenny is in the audience for those who are...
Thank you, Lenny. Okay.
Lenny Cordo.
The categories that you picked, were those chosen, are those based on what the organization self-identified or your interpretation? Okay.
Identified by the organization, not me.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, and a critical point for the record, that this chart reflects what the applications self-identified as.
100%. You also see one category with 0 X's, which is premium pay.
Number 7.
Yeah, and I did not, there's a question, does this application include premium pay? And I didn't chart that separately from the column.
No.
But I can't imagine somebody would not have filled that column out and said yes to the question.
Right.
So you can, upon review, later. And of course, if you had this up on your computer, you could sort it anyway from Tuesday.
Great work, Jen.
Yeah, really great work.
Monday was...
I was going to say, I had the pleasure of walking in your office.
Monday was crazy.
It was crazy.
So I know that Jen has done a lot of scanning of all the documents, but there are still more to go because we had yesterday was an election day for Jen, so they're not all ready to go out yet for reading, but we will have them out in a day or two. But we just need to finish that. But what I would like to do is have you look at this list, and if you are connected to any of those applications in any way, if you're on a board or something at that organization and you cannot read that application, if you could tell us now, and that way I will not send that away.
The first one.
Do you want to go around the room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dennis,
Audubon, that's RTPEC, which is the old B and Whistle.
Okay.
And I'm on the board, and
Okay.
I'm head of the Board of Finance, so I am recused.
Okay, you're out on that.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else? Can we just go down this list? It'd probably be easier. Anybody else on Audubon?
Kind of go through.
I think that, Martha, can we say that the 3 town employees, which are Dave, Phil, and I,
Cannot read, I know. I know that.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah.
but that takes out a lot of...
But I also want to make sure there's no one on a committee that's connected to any of those.
Right.
I have several, but
I have
you're going to go
several.
down
I
in
do as well.
order.
All right.
Do you just want us to go one at a time, or how do you want us?
Which is easier? I just think we do it by organization, the things, and then you just, let's just do the list. So is there anyone for Black Hall Outfitters? Okay. Community Foundation, Parjay.
Me. Mary.
Okay. Community Health Center. David Griswold and Associates. Fresh Air Mechanical. Halls Road Improvement Committee.
I need to recuse myself from that. My business is on Halls Road.
Okay,
I'm a prior
right.
member of that committee, but not a current member, so you're fine.
Okay. Lenny Corto Restaurants.
As EDC chair, we provided Lenny a letter of support.
Okay.
And I will recuse myself from that category.
Okay. Lyme Academy of Fine Arts. Lyme Senior Center.
My wife is on the board.
Okay. Probably be a good idea. Well, Lyme Senior Center Board of Directors, I'll take Tom off that one as well.
We don't talk.
And happily married.
All right. LYSB, Mary, you can't do that.
I need to recuse myself from that as a donor.
Yep. I'm not reading, so.
Well,
I think I need to recuse myself from that because of the community.
I mean, not just a donor, like, right. I
Yeah.
mean, several people.
plenty of donors around the table.
Yeah.
Around the room.
I mean, but if you're talking about the fact that you, like, helped us establish
Yeah.
a fund and, like, more.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
More than a donor.
You've
Got
been
it.
a consultant.
For
Okay.
a board member, how's that, Rick?
Yeah.
All right. Old Lyme Arts District.
Cheryl?
Probably me, right, Cheryl?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, Mary.
Okay. Old Lyme Historical Society.
Me.
Me,
Can people say their names for the speaker for the recording?
Mary Jo.
And Ross. Old Lyme Fire Department.
Me, David.
I need to recuse myself as a potential business conflict of interest with a
Yep.
So
person.
you're Rick.
Rick Stout.
David Roberge and Rick Stout were recused from the two for the Old Lyme Fire Department. Old Lyme Office of Emergency Management, Dave
Recuse
Roberge.
myself again.
Anyone else on that?
I assist Dave with emergency management, so probably Jennifer as well.
Okay. Old Lyme Police Services, David.
I have nothing to do with that one.
No? Okay. Old Lyme Emergency Management,
That's
This is,
That's EMS.
EMS, sorry.
that's Rick. Rick, I need to excuse myself from that due to perceived business conflict of interest.
Dave, anything on that?
I was
No?
not involved in that one.
Okay, Old Lyme Library.
I need to recuse myself from that. My business partner is on the board there.
Yep.
This is Rick.
Rick. Raz Incorporated. Shoreline Soup Kitchen and Pantries.
We, when they were at the church, I worked there, so.
Okay.
Bill?
Bill.
No, I'm sorry.
Soundview Beach Association. Sustainable Old Lyme.
Cheryl?
What's that one?
You as well.
Yeah, I have to be, that's
Yeah. So Cheryl and Mary Seidner.
I mean, I was a past member. Is that all right?
I think you're fine.
All right. So then the next, 2, 3, 4.
Can I just go back? My husband works at Shoreline Soup Kitchen. I don't know if that should recuse me or not. Volunteers, I should
We'll
say.
do it that way.
I think it should.
We'll be safe.
And Martha, just for public comment, for public knowledge, you're not raising your hand because you're not voting or assessing anything. You're acting as Board of Selectmen.
Right, and I did read a statement at the Board of Selectmen meeting on Monday that I will not be, I might read them, but I'm not chiming in on, and I'm not scoring any applications. I am just like the gatekeeper to make sure that they all get read, that everyone has what they need to do their job to get this through, because I will be voting as a select person once this group makes recommendations, and I won't be voting on the recommendations. All right, so we have Town of Old Lyme. We have various applications. If I know that Dave Phil, Jen cannot read any of the town ones.
The town government ones or the commissions as well?
I think if your paycheck is connected to the town,
I would agree with
then you cannot.
Yep.
I would
It's just cleaner
put you in a
and
bad
safer.
situation.
Yep, just clarifying.
Yep. So they are out for the town, but if you sit on a commission or for the town of Old Lyme that could have any of those grants could have an impact, you just let me know.
Cheryl, economic development.
Okay? Anything else? If you think of anything else as you come through, because we'll have a day or two, you can just send me an email and I'll take you off the list. So I think we're done with that.
Do we have enough reviewers?
Yeah,
You're
you have
gonna-
3 for any given
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We'll divide it up. You will not be bored. You don't talk to your wife anyway, so it's good.
Let me just tell you, I did not read many of them, but some of them are much more detailed and thicker than others.
So you'll be some that are fast and some that aren't. Okay, so I hope to be able to send you everything today. It's Wednesday. I hope that by Friday I can send you out. And I know we have probably a rubric question that we have to.
Well, before we get to that, Mary Jo had offered to help me with scanning, and I can't come in tomorrow, so I'll leave you access to the stuff if you want to work on it. Somebody else wants to work on it. But I'm out tomorrow.
I can help myself.
Okay.
Perfect. If you need help doing the job, I can do it. Okay, big fixing it too, but
Yeah. So some of them were simply hand delivered, and I have no electronic copy. Some were emailed, and I did not do anything. I just have them in the email, which I can give you. It's the ARPA email. I can give you the password to it. You can log in.
I'll talk to you.
Okay.
I think there's a cleaner way to do that.
Oh, perfect.
I'll help you with that.
I will also offer to be one of the assigned reviewers for any of the more intricate ones, simply because I think I've got a fairly good read on the final rule, and also my background, I think, lends itself well to that, if that's okay.
You read a lot, too.
What's that?
You read a lot.
I read a lot, yeah. And I read it. I can't spell for beans, but...
Good. Okay, so hopefully you'll be hearing from me on Friday with your assignment. And
enjoy it now.
And if you get into one and you realize it's connected in some way to an offshoot of something, just send it back to us and say, I can't review this one.
No, I'm going to put this question out. What if during the review process, as you read these, is there any way to tap into any other information related to it? Meaning, if there's something you don't understand or something that's not clear?
As it relates to the final rule, or you mean
No,
the application?
the application.
Then I think what you do is, I think there's a section in the rubric, am I correct, Mary, where you can take notes?
Oh, yeah,
And you can put your questions.
comments and questions.
Okay.
I think that would be good to make note of your questions, because you should have questions.
Right.
And then when we get together and you and the other person who reviewed that same application, you'll have a conversation about,
Did you have the same question?
yeah, what your thoughts, and and at that point, the entire committee would have a conversation about that,
I think too, if you come across one where, let's say, Phil, you read it, Cheryl reads it, Jen reads it, all three of you read it, you email me and say, we have a lot of questions on this one, maybe we're gonna need to meet with this person, or I don't know.
Well, that's where I was headed. If there's something that has partial information or raises a lot of questions.
There's another area which is technical difficulties, because I know we tried really hard to get that fillable form workable, but some people did tell me they had trouble with it, with the font size, with the font, with whatever version of Adobe you happen to have on your computer.
Yeah.
None at all.
Not at all.
Please see attached.
A lot of people did do attachments, but for example, I'm thinking of one in particular where I know the text got cut off. And in my mind, I'm like, I should reach out to them, but I didn't. So I don't think that should be a penalty to them for not having.
that won't.
No, but we should have some mechanism to reach out for people for that kind of thing.
I think once
When we
it's
wanna make
assigned,
the yeah, once it's assigned.
once it's assigned to the review team, I think if we know that on that team, I think that's an immediate question. We kick that back and say, do you have the rest of this?
I think that you could actually, that could be Martha's job.
Yeah,
She's not reading anything,
Okay.
but like that one that you're talking about, that it got cut off in the
Yeah.
PDF, you should reach out to them right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and say you're up, you know,
Before the
realize,
Yeah.
did you look
We
at
got
your app?
3/4 of your application.
No, because they sent it electronically. They didn't know how it would look.
That's
on my
okay,
end.
but-
You know what I'm saying?
but-
That's not going to be held against
It's okay, it's okay.
But
I
electronically,
also
you can't
think-
access it? You can't?
Yeah, I can see it, but I wonder if they realized it was cut off. Like, maybe.
People have various levels of,
But-
Yeah.
Sometimes if you'll notice on that form, on that fillable form, the font, when you clicked on it,
Defaulted.
would default
Yeah.
to a much larger font. And sometimes when you
Yeah.
print
But
that
if-
stuff out and then.
So when you
save
print it, it doesn't
over
show, but if you click on it, you can see it?
Not sure.
Okay, I bet you can.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's,
Not
maybe
sure.
we can look at it and do our own
Also,
attachment.
I think it should come from Martha because it'll come from a town.
That's
a
a
county.
better path, I think.
Yeah, I do too.
Not from a reviewer.
I'm just saying it might be there. It might
Yeah,
not be
you're
there.
right.
Maybe
You're
it's
right.
there.
Absolutely.
Like, you might want to look.
So are we saying then,
I will check.
if we have questions, we bring in the questions back to the committee through Martha to reach out to the applicant?
If it's about the application, if it's a question in your mind,
I'm thinking missing data,
right, missing data,
not clear.
not clear, right. I
That's unclear.
need clarification.
Yeah, that's, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
send it to me, I will reach out to that person.
I couldn't get page 3, I got page 4, you know what I mean? Or I got half of this page
Or this question wasn't answered
clearly.
Clearly.
Or at all.
Hold on, you're next. Yes, Dennis?
I think some of these would benefit if we group them. And what I'm thinking of, we know our number one category in the survey was water, stormwater, sewer, and the shoreline and Long Island Sound. Looking at what's left on here, I don't know what RAS is. It's the biggest, and it says Sound View Revitalization, but it's not checked for infrastructure. So I don't know whether that one, but there's 3 that clearly are in the category. Soundview Beach for 275, TOL Facilities Swanbrook 55, and WPCA 252 Sewer Project. Those total 582. Now we were worried months ago, you know, they were going to ask for 10 million or 8 million, and they didn't. But I think when we review those 3 or 4, to the extent they deal with that issue, it would benefit the group to look at all 3 as a set rather than individually.
I think when we come back together as a group, because I know that there are a couple that are parallel submissions. They may actually be parallel, just the same issue submitted by 2 different sources.
Mm-hmm.
And we would hate to, and so I think once we see that will have to become a full committee discussion
Mm-hmm.
about which way we go. And I think that if that starts to happen, I think that raises a different discussion.
I think I'm in support of what Dennis is saying. I think particularly for that category of applications. The other thing that I'd like to mention is, if I may be so bold as to offer somebody else's expertise. Mary Jo, you probably have the best working tribal knowledge of those of us in the committee who are going to be looking at applications to understand some of the ins and the outs of what these applications may be referencing. Would you agree with that?
In some cases, I would agree.
So I think that this category has the potential to be maybe contentious. I don't have any problems being assigned that category. I don't have any sort of political aspirations. So
You don't want a beach cottage?
I don't own a beach cottage anywhere. I know the final rule pretty well.
Okay.
So I will volunteer to work on that.
Okay.
So are you suggesting that we're going to try and lump these and people get a category?
Well, if we do,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, if all the arts were read by one person, you know.
and remember, there's going to be 3 people looking at each.
I think it would be more equitable if sometimes a different viewpoint came in when reading. If someone who's very heavily, I mean, I know you've recused yourselves from things, but I don't know, it could play either way, right?
Well, we have 3 people look at every one, right?
Right, but so I'm just saying, you're not going to have the same 3 people do all the water ones.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
I thought that's what was
That is not.
That's what I thought Rockwood was.
Okay.
My question, yeah.
You could.
Well, I think
Right.
there's value in institutional memory of some of these applications. I think there's a value in there. I think that at first blush, you should recuse yourself, but I think when we come back together as a collective, and I'm just kind of rolling this out into the room, as we come back together as a collective, we look at 2 applications that appear to be for
The arts.
The arts or whatever. And I think we can lean, as a group, look at the arts community and say, you know, we would like us to hear this feedback, and then from that, make our decisions.
And I've had to recuse myself from 1+ applications regarding the arts, but I'm also the person who was brought to the table because of my background in the
Right,
arts.
so that's how you get valid, for lack of a better term, you get, when the whole group comes back.
Yes.
We've already put them through the rubrics. We've already made our sort of recommendations, maybe with questions, but maybe we need a little input from you because you're wheels down doing this
Because of the
stuff.
institutional knowledge.
So maybe one person who's assigned to these categories, one reviewer, should be assigned to all of the similar categories, and then the other 2 reviewers
Well,
drawn from
good
the other
idea to
pool.
have, of the 3 people reviewing an application, one of them should be the expert, unless they're recused, you know?
Agreed.
And so, but I have to say, I was on a scholarship review committee at the community foundation, and we did divvy it up, like, I read all the New London High School applications, you know, and so you became like almost, it became...
Apples to apples.
Yeah, you could see other applications that were similar. I don't know if we even have that, you know, happening here, so, but there's lots of ways to tackle it, I guess.
Is there anything you're uncomfortable with, Martha, as far as the assigner or arbiter of who's going to look at things?
As a teacher, I'm really good at assigning.
I mean, I have complete confidence in your
I think
ability to do that.
There's value in the arbitrary assignment, but I could see the other side. But then the expert is at the larger conversation.
That's where I think that's appropriate. I think that one of the things that we talked about as a committee when we were sort of storming, norming, forming, and doing all that stuff was we didn't want somebody to come in and ask for $2.1 million. You know, we wanted to kind of spread this out as wide as we can over as many categories as we could. We wanted to kind of look at that. So some of these larger ones maybe get partial funding and whatever, however that works out. But I do think once we come back together as a collective, the decisions I in my mind anyway, have sort of been made, if you will. They've been through the rubric, they've been scored. We know that we're going to do these 7 and we may not do these 3, whatever we're going to do. And I think at that point, if there's a subject matter expert who can lend, you know, answer the, well, all 3 of us looked at this and we didn't understand why this was this way. You know, is there any way, you know, you can give us insight? And it may not have to be even the applicant, just someone with some depth of bench in that area. And I think that's fair because it should be an open discussion. And we should make the group should make the decision based upon the best available information, in my opinion. And I think that's the place to do it, he said, finishing up.
I have another question about the rubric, and at the end, when as a scorer, you're saying I would send this 100%. Is that? Do we have guidance on that question in terms of let's say Economic Development Commission had this grand plan and we put it in for $1 million to revitalize Halls Road or something, made up example. It could be an interesting, good project. So yeah, I would fund this for 100%. But we only have 2.62 million, so no, I wouldn't fund this 100%. Is it in light of what our total budget is, or in light of how good a project it is, or?
I think you're going to have to say what you want to, what your heart really wants you to do, or what your brain's telling you, but once you get to the table, it may not be able to be funded.
Okay.
100%.
And if it's not funded 100%, is it viable? Can anything be
Also,
That's why we asked that question.
part of the application process gave the author the opportunity to describe if this project was funded less than 100%, how would you?
Right, yeah.
So I think that portion is scoring that section of the application.
I just think there might be really good ideas here, but in light of how much money we have, we're $1 million over.
Right, there probably, so the answer is, there probably will be.
I'm sorry, that doesn't account what?
The economic recovery.
Right, that doesn't, right.
It doesn't include the amount of money we gave to Ledgelight, too.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, that's gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, that's gonna happen, and we.
Okay.
Or your postcards.
But there's wide variability in the estimated ask. If you throw out everything that's 200,000 and higher, there's a whole bunch. You could fund them all, and it really wouldn't make a whole lot of difference. It's the big ones that are torquing a thing. And so another way to go this is you take the really big ones out and really inspect those. And the rest, as long as they're credible and they check the rubric, it doesn't really matter. So get over it and just approve them.
Maybe, I do think, I don't know, I'd like to score these based on thinking that we have unlimited funds.
That's what I was thinking.
That's kind of my question.
That should be the question.
Yeah.
Fully fund this if you had unlimited funds.
Right.
Right.
And
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Then go back and revisit them.
Then that's that day when we sit.
Right.
That's
when the hard decision.
That's what I said, in this forum, when we're back, we've just funded $3.1 million of these, and whatever this is, $1 million of these.
What's this add up to?
But then we.
3-1?
3152331 or something.
Right, but again, that's only the community initiative.
That's the community initiative.
3.523.
3.52331.
And then George is the economic recovery, how much money are we giving him?
At $10,000 a whack, that's 31.
But no,
It might not be 10,000.
they're not all 10,000.
No, I know that, but I'm just
Exactly,
saying.
put an outside.
I'm just saying.
Worst case scenario.
We are over the amount.
We know that.
Yeah, we
And
are.
we already gave Ledgelight their money, they didn't have to apply.
So I think when we meet together as a collective, that's part of our tasking. They're all, the ones that would fail if they were fully funded, because they were asked that question in the application. We'll have to say, well, that's out, and that's out.
So, but in the rubric, that last question, how fully would you fund this? Are we all agreeing we're going to answer that question if funds were unlimited?
I think so.
I think we should have a motion made on that and have that voted on by the committee.
Okay, so that could be a change in the rubric.
The change in.
Just to change the wording in the rubric too.
I would really advise that, because that was one of the questions I asked this group a couple meetings ago. How do you read this? That was taken from another rubric. I read it kind of the way Cheryl is, that yes, I funded 100%, but if it couldn't be operated with 100%, would I fund it at 50%? Yes, I would. So I'm glad we're having this discussion, and I think we need to make that clear.
But I think we should have a motion, but I also think we actually ask that question in the application. If you don't receive full funding.
We do.
Yeah.
We do that.
We do.
Then what? And then I modify the project, I get funding, whatever it is.
Also, from my reading, which again, I did not read these, but I glanced at some of them as I was filling out this chart. Some of them are requesting partial payment for a bigger project.
Mm-hmm.
They want 20,000, but their project's going to cost 50, and they already plan to get money from other sources.
Right, so you either adjust the size of your project, but if somebody says, if I don't get this funding, I can't do this project, and we go through it and we say, if we had the money, we would fund it. We don't have the money, so we won't be able to fund it.
That's technically not a deal breaker for that application.
Right, no.
Because we say in the application that you have to that things have to be funded and fully completed by the by the completion deadline.
Right.
And also, the money can't be used for like a matching grant, or what is that caveat as well, right?
Right.
I think we can theorize it. Most people said this is how we would make up the shortfall, that they have
Yes.
an idea of how they're going to make up, or at least that's what they wrote.
This is probably a minority of total applications, but the devil will be in the detail. So how do we best parliamentarians address that change in the rubric?
Well, last time we just made changes without a motion, so. I mean, am I correct in saying that?
Correct, but it was a draft still.
Now it's a document.
Oh, now it's a document. Gotcha, okay.
We haven't done
Still,
the actual
We have not,
scales yet, key. So that's an additional thing we have to determine today.
Do we need to amend the agenda then for that, because it is not on the agenda? Is it? I don't see it.
I make a motion to add review of the scoring rubric to the agenda for today's meeting.
Thank you.
I second that.
Third it. We've already had a discussion.
We need a call for
Need a call for a
a
vote?
vote.
To add the scoring rubric to the agenda after community initiative application assignments.
Okay, is there any discussion? So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none?
And I'm thinking, trying to craft the motion to speak to your issue about, when they're fully funded, when they're not, and to Mary Jo's.
But I think it has to do just with that one question.
Yeah.
do we need a motion to change the language on the draft rubric? I don't know.
I think we just did that.
I don't think we've even approved them.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Correct.
So how does that question read now, Mary?
It reads now, would you fund this proposal? What?
Yes or no?
Thank you.
Recommend 100% funding if available. Recommend 75% funding if available.
Okay.
If available, it's already there. So,
Yeah, but however, the only thing I have though is, where in the rubric, I know it's in here somewhere, does it answer, is this project viable if not 100% funded?
That's in the
That was in the application.
Yes, that's
yes,
in the
it is right here, that question, if,
Got it.
And
It's in the rubric.
he found it.
We're good.
I think you're right. I think we're good how this reads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think has everybody seen
JJ in the
that?
middle.
I think it's good how it reads.
yeah, it covers, yeah.
The application score said, would you fund this proposal? And it goes from 100% down to 25% and 25% increments.
Yeah.
And then up above it says, is partial funding. I think the rubric reads all right.
With the application, the whole section, I think that's
Correct.
section 6.
So that's what she did, Mary followed the
Yeah.
application.
Rubric matches the application
Yeah.
point.
Okay, so it's,
Question by question, it's
So-
basically the application.
As long
It's
as
a
the
moot point.
author
It's a moot
of the application
Saw it.
saw it and answered it to
Right.
the best of their ability, we can interpret that as this
we're
criteria.
good.
Okay, so the next thing we have to talk about on the rubric is what the scale is, the key, and Jen is printing it right now and bringing it in, so, for your
Reading enjoyment?
reading enjoyment.
It had a key on it.
The key was not on it. So questions, most of the questions have a scale of 0 to 5.
Okay, right.
But there's one question that has a scale of 0 to 2, just to screw you up. Okay, so,
You did that on purpose.
yeah, we did it so it would add up to 50. No, it's,
Yeah, we did it on purpose.
we did it on purpose, yeah, no.
Okay.
Anyway,
You're honest.
it is on the second page. See where it says scores. Turn it over. Right there by your thumb. Score 0 to 2.
Gotcha.
What's the identifier?
Extent to which the program addresses the needs of those most impacted by the pandemic. Is that what that's what the question is?
Okay.
0 to 2.
And what is that interpretation?
0 to 2.
No,
Those
statement. Is that the community? Is that to the organization filing the application? Is that?
Up to you as the reviewer.
It says the program, so it would be the application is how I would read it.
Mm-hmm.
It's under the category of project.
Mm-hmm.
So can I ask, when you complete your reading and scoring, are you sending back these rubrics to me?
So,
Should.
Or are you keeping your own rubrics in?
what I
And-
suggest, having done this a couple times already, is if everybody gets the rubric as an Excel spreadsheet with multiple tabs, one tab for each of your applications, and then you fill it out, bring it with you to the meeting, and when Rick and I talk about a particular application and Phil, because the three of us read that, we'll talk about the whole group, like we'll present it to you. This is an application from so-and-so, and this is basically what it did, and I gave them these scores for these reasons, but I have these questions, and we'll talk about it. And at that point, I might adjust my scores based
Right.
on the feedback from
Sure.
the two of you. And then at the end of the meeting, when I have my final, I click save and I send it to Martha. And Martha can consolidate.
Right, and that's why-
average her scores.
And that was why, when we talked about talking to the subject matter expert, I was in support of having it done at the final meeting when we were all together. This collective has already taken care of it.
And I think what Mary just said would be pretty much supportive of what you're just saying, right?
Yeah.
At the final meeting.
I mean,
Yep.
at that meeting where we're here all day. Like, I mean, because you might have picked up on something I missed, and we'll...
Right. That works.
And that's what we've done in some other required state rubric evaluations. Once we individually read them and we came up with our scores and had the group discussion, we modified them. All of that information then was saved and required by the state of Connecticut to be held. But we definitely had the meeting of the minds of everybody that read that particular application before it was considered final.
And just kind of a housekeeping issue, some of us will be sitting here with laptops.
That's true.
And some people will have to print out and bring with them their printout and then update them on their computer.
Either however you want to do it, but if you're going to have 12 tabs on your Excel spreadsheet, that's
Well, I'm just bringing it up because people need to
I
consider
think I'm
that.
gonna bring my own laptop.
I'm going to bring all
If you're bringing your laptop, bring a power cord just in case you run out.
And an extension
We won't be
cord.
meeting that long.
No,
Or
you
we
don't.
might.
We're gonna meet up.
Mary Jo, it's different. It's different, Mary Jo. It's different. It's new. The
It's
rubric.
new and
We don't
different.
have it. I just seen it for the first time.
Do you have a copy?
Oh, you have a copy?
I thought you thought it was the one that we just talked about. Okay, so for 0 to 5, it's really 6,
Right.
possibilities. But the 0, but 0 basically means it wasn't answered.
Do we have any definitions of exemplary?
Better than exceeds expectations.
And again, what we talked about last time is it the application write-up or is it the project itself that's exceeding expectation?
It should be the lean more heavily on the project
Yes,
itself.
so we need to be clear about that.
Right, but,
People are better writers than others.
Yeah.
but we can't help as human beings influenced by the better, right?
Well, but we need to be
Yes.
careful about that.
However, in the rubric, one of the questions that we're asking is, the project is well described. So if someone's not a grant writer, it might not be as well described, but do you as the reader have a good understanding of what the project is?
And there might be supporting documentation that describes it better even than the person
Yeah.
writing it can.
I'm not saying
Sorry.
I think we have to have, think we have to have some confidence and faith that everybody at the table reviewing these has demonstrated heretofore goodwill, good intention, above the board, public disclosure. I think we have a good group of minds that are working on this, that we can navigate anything that proves itself to be a little bit difficult, prickly, or challenging.
And I like the fact that we're not being cut adrift at the end. In the end, it will wade through everybody before it gets there.
And I would,
For your edification, serving as a desirable model and representing the best of its kind.
That's an exemplary.
Asked and answered.
and I would ask that those of you who are in close proximity to each other, when you're reading, and you may have the same application, that you refrain from talking about it until May 18th.
Okay. Those were all, we all come
Good
together
guidance.
in the room.
Okay.
If you have a question that needs to be answered, you run it through me, I'll get you an answer. But
Good advice.
it shouldn't be a topic of conversation within this building at all.
She's looking at the town. She's looking at the town employees.
It really should not be a topic of conversation with the reviewer and anybody,
Right.
in my opinion.
Thank you
But
for saying that out loud.
To circle back to if there's a technical issue with, they're not,
They missed it or something.
Then you're going to get cut off.
The text is
yeah,
cut
you don't
off.
talk to your co
No, but I mean,
if
you
you
could
get in
just tell the
touch.
whole committee, the text is cut off.
And then,
Martha,
I will notify the other two scorers, you're going to see this, I'm working on getting it
Yes,
better for you.
Okay.
that's a good process.
Right.
So both
That way
procedure
it keeps you
and
above the
product
board.
refrain from.
Pardon?
Keeps you above the board.
so, is everybody comfortable with these rubrics?
I am.
I am.
I am.
I'd say they're exemplary.
Makes sense.
That was the straightest face.
I thought they exceeded expectations.
I would like,
Why we're not wearing masks anymore.
I would like to make a point of order, because I don't like to misspell things, but I misspelled Audubon. Audubon is A-U-D-U-B-O-N.
All Greek to me.
Okay?
Somewhere. Fountain?
I try and be very careful about.
We're going to fix that before we get,
Rory, sorry, Peter.
And
I know, but
Oh,
also
yeah.
Fountain.
yeah,
Fountain?
Approve the community initiative rubric with this key.
But we didn't approve
Second.
the full rubric, okay.
Well, I'm asking.
And the key.
Okay.
And the key.
and the key.
And the key? Gotcha.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Oh, yeah, that's just an extra I, sure.
Tom, call for a vote.
That was a typo.
Okay, with no discussion, that has been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So, Martha, I will update
cat room approved.
the rubric.
Hold on, you didn't ask if there's any,
Take the Q off the end.
we only got the ayes.
Any,
No one responded to the any opposed.
Right.
No.
So it passes unanimously.
I will take the rubric and add the scale to it, so it's all on one piece of paper and send it to you.
perfect. Thank you. Is there, should we just go to public comment?
No, one question.
Oh, sorry.
How about a 5-minute walkthrough? Okay, will we get one at a time, or will we get our 3 at once?
You're getting your 3 at once. Well, you might have more than 3.
Well, we'll get however many we get at one time.
So here's my intention. My intention is to send you PDFs of the applications. The reason I'm sending you a PDF, it's not editable. So you can't change anything in it. And I will send you a PDF of those that you're reading, and I will send you the electronic copy of Mary's the rubric that has been designed. And you will add your tabs to that, add your pages. Mary, maybe you could just give us,
Yeah,
for those people who are not technical,
I can do that for
a little
you.
direction on how to do that, or maybe add the pages yourself, maybe. And you're going to then sit down with a cup of coffee and some Oreos, and you're going to start to read.
A pot of coffee and a sleeve is in there.
Girl Scout season.
2 sleeves.
And then you're going to have at it, and you're going to be reviewing for the next 10 to 12 days, depending on when you get this. And meanwhile, sending And don't, please, whatever you do, do not wait and send me all your questions at once. Just send them to me. And you also have my phone number. In fact, I'll give it to everybody. I know some people have it. But my cell phone number is 860-227-0004.
That's a good one.
And it would be wise if you just texted me and said, check your email. I mean, just, it's Ross, I've got a problem, check your email. You want to go into length, you can. But I do have a daytime job, and so I usually do not get to responding to emails till about 4:30 or 5 in the afternoon. So it is wise to contact me another way and alert me that you are in mode, because I go into town hall mode either very early in the morning, sometimes at 12 or 1 in the morning, sometimes not till 6:30, and then again in the evening. But let me know.
And will Mary send out that
Well, I
instruction?
think that the idea is that Martha will send to you an entire packet. And your email will have everything you need. It'll have your applications and the rubric right there.
Yep.
So you can get going.
So you can get going.
So take that rubric, save it to your hard drive, to your computer, and then get to work on it.
You're going to get a little zip file, and it's all compressed file. You're going to open it. You're going to have your rubric. You're going to have your applications.
There's another way to do it where we could have it all on a Google Drive, and each person gets a link to their Google Drive, and all the documents will be right there.
I think a shared drive makes a lot of sense.
Well, each person has their own drive within it, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Martha's sharing it with me.
Do you want results and questions as we work?
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting a stream of them?
No, not results.
Not results. Questions.
Questions.
But questions that are serious, like, not just any old question. I just think questions where, like, there's something missing here, you need to reach out to this business.
Right, that type of thing. Not the general questions like...
That you plan to ask at the meeting.
Yeah. So the expectation is that we are going to come into the May 18th meeting at 10 a.m. with our completed rubrics for our assignments. Yes, just to clarify for everyone. And between now and then, we have a meeting next week, which is a George meeting.
George is coming next week, and he will go over the economic recovery grants. And that will give us a little sense, too, of where we are for some money, too, what's going out there, or what he's recommending, anyway.
Include George's list?
No.
This is just this.
That's that list.
George's.
Except you have George's,
Dennis, you have it.
George's list.
Right, but these are capped at 10 each, right?
They're capped at 10.
Yeah.
But some of them I know are less than, some people requested less than 10. He did mention that to me. I don't know what's happened since.
It's
but
maxed at 10.
It's maxed at 10. Okay.
I
don't like it. Is there any further discussion on any of that? Can we move to public comment?
Yes, please.
Is there any public comment from the phone? Hearing none, is there any public comment from the audience?
From Lenny.
Lenny? Okay. So, hearing no public comment, can we have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, my God.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
29.
I know.
Wait a minute.
Nope.
I'm making a motion we adjourn at 1 o'clock.
We did a 1-hour meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.